The museum opened about 20 years ago. It opened with an exhibition called The Story of Derry, which told the history of the city from its beginning right through to its present day. A few months ago we've had a new exhibition called The Spanish Armada, which is stuff that was discovered off the Donegal coast, which have now brought into the museum, and that is now the new exhibition. The Story of Derry is closed presently and will be reopening this summer, so we'll have 2 full exhibitions available from this summer on.
From the 24th of August to the 4th of September, we sailed without knowing whither, through constant storms, fogs and squall. The Armada historian, W. Spotswood Green, writing in 1906, said, "Cyclone followed cyclone. Those of August 23rd to the 24th, September 10th and 2nd being the heaviest."
There's been a huge change, certainly in the Tower Museum, with the addition now of this new Spanish Armada Gallery, and that's been an enormous change really for the whole visitor experience. My job is to obviously promote 2 exhibitions at the Tower Museum for education. So the Story of Derry, obviously, which will reopen later on this year, will be the main focus probably for the visitor because it tells the story of the city. But this new Armada gallery here tells us a very different story. And so from an education point of view, we now have 2 very different but complementary exhibitions to promote to schools and obviously to a general kind of wider audience as well.
This museum is seen specifically with the Spanish Armada in Ireland. Very interactive, there's lots of audio visuals and there's lots of beautiful stuff that have been held by the Ulster Museum in Belfast. As you walk from the top here, where we get a great panoramic view of the surrounding city, right all the way down to the different floors, the different levels. There's interactive, there's hands-on touch screen, and they get lots of information. For any kids that is doing that particular period in history in 16th century, 1588, of course, the Spanish Armada, it incorporates Spanish history, English history, and of course, Irish history. So they're getting a lot out of this museum here.
A gunfire drew the attention of around 200 of Queen Elizabeth's troops from Burke Castle. For the next 48 hours, the 2 forces faced each other in a standoff.
Originally in museums you just looked at the exhibits, but now we're trying to get people involved physically by touching the exhibits, feeling them, reading more about them, so it makes it more interesting for the visitors, you know.
I mean, the exhibition itself is very user-friendly and it's very accessible on lots of different levels. When you first come in as a visitor or a family or a school, you're presented with information on different layers. So not only do you have the information that's presented to you perhaps on the visual panels or in the cases for the objects, but you also have digital information, whether it's in the form of an AV presentation or in the form of databases that you can access at various locations throughout the exhibition. So there's lots of different ways in which people can find out about the Armada, and it's a very comprehensive exhibition because it tells the story of the Armada and also tells the story of this particular ship. And then within that, there's another layer of telling the story of what it was like on a ship in the 16th century. And yet another layer is telling us what it was like to be an underwater archaeologist and how you actually got those objects from the seabed into the museum today. So I think it's very interesting for the visitor, and because it's a story that has a local connection because of the City of Derry Sub-Aqua Club, it's interesting, but it also has a wider kind of international appeal as well, which makes it even more interesting maybe for general tourists to the city.
Well, it's particularly helpful for educational groups and for foreign visitors because we've got all the AVs in different languages, so people can understand in their own language what they're seeing and what they're hearing.
It'll give them more interest, it'll give them more stimulation as well. It'll give them something when they walk out of the museum they can remember and can tell their friends about. It's more towards children really. So adults tend to be frightened of technology, whereas children tend to jump in at the deep end and do what they can and get really involved. So it should interest the children. If you get the children interested, you get the parents to come in with them.
Absolutely. I mean, we've got a floor of interactives, which is helping a lot. Kids can go out and actually get involved, physically involved in the different exhibits there, you know.